What's going on, you guys? This is Joe with Becoming an Entrepreneur. I'm so happy today to be talking to you guys about negotiation. Now, negotiation is a skill that you can use in any business. My channel happens to be about the janitorial industry, and so I negotiate fairly big contracts. They could last years and years, and they could be quite large, especially when you start involving lots of different employees and all the different tasks in multiple locations. And so negotiation's a big skill that I need to have, but it could be useful in any profession, really. So anyway, I got a comment from a guy named Robert F. Davis. How's it going, man? Appreciate your comment. And so I'm just going to go ahead and read it. It says, "Hello, I've been in the business for 3 years and I still get nervous doing estimates. I have one in about 12 hours for an apartment complex. I saw a professional video from a channel a while ago that said to always ask them what their budget is. Every time I do that, it gets awkward. They don't want to tell me because they don't want to see they want to see how low I'm going to bid at first. One person even rolled his eyes when I asked. What a jerk. I said it in a professional manner. Do you recommend doing this to see if they're going to be worth to see if it's even going to be worth your time going through the work of doing the estimate? Any input is appreciated. Or do you ask them what they're currently paying another company? Thanks." Well, this is something that I've had to deal with and figure out over time, and I've had to study negotiation. And what prompted my study in negotiation was I ran into a random customer, and I'm sitting in this meeting, and this person was different. And I'm like, this person knew how to negotiate, and this person knew the right things to say, and I could tell that I was sort of being manipulated over the conversation. And if maybe you guys have never studied negotiation, but maybe you've studied sales, and you understand that the salesperson has like a path that they're guiding you down. They're asking you right questions to set you up to say certain things. Well, I noticed this person was doing this in our negotiation, and I'm like, holy shit, this person's like pretty advanced. And if I'm gonna negotiate with them, I need to study this stuff. So I went home and I did a whole bunch of research, and I got like every book I could get on the subject. I took like an online course so that I could get brushed up to speed on what was going to go down. Luckily, in my first encounter with this person, I didn't have to come up with any concrete agreements, and so I had some time to go home and research this, and I learned some interesting things. So I want to talk to you guys about kind of what I learned. First thing is, I learned that when people are studying business, oftentimes they have to take a negotiation class. And so I actually found a class from Harvard Law, and this is basically, they teach a type of negotiation called principled negotiation. So that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. And not only do they use this in law, but you use it in business, and then also law enforcement uses it. If you're in a standoff with someone who's barricaded inside a house, you need to get them out, and there's hostages. This is very intense, and so these negotiators need to be very good at it, and this is the course that they're taking. This is the things they're learning. So everything that I'm telling you in this, these are just like the basics, but it would be a good use of your time and a good use of your money to actually go find these courses and find these books and actually study it and practice it and do some role playing, because this is just going to be a really good business principle to have. All right, so the first thing that you need to do is separate the people from the problem. And when you're talking with people, emotions start to get involved, and when you're negotiating a big contract, a lot of money's on the line, it's really complicated, it can get extremely frustrating. And if the other person's not the best communicator, or if you feel like they might start attacking you personally, or both of your organizations have conflict with one another, it's going to be hard to separate the people from the problem at hand. I can remember one time I was on a board and we were negotiating a new lease for our organization inside of this building. And man, after about a year of being in the building, the two organizations, the one I'm part of and then the other one that we were leasing the space from, the relationship totally fell apart. And we were not able to separate the people from the problem. And the whole negotiation just fell apart. I walked away from it. I was just so frustrated with both groups of people that they could not put their interpersonal conflicts aside to come up with a good solution. And I just had to walk away, and eventually the whole thing just completely fell apart, and we had to walk away. We lost something like $100,000, and it was just a huge frustrating situation. So the first thing that so I'm just saying, like, I've got some like personal experience. I'm a little bit heated when it comes to that topic. You have to remove the people from the problem and realize that you guys both have an objective that you would like to reach, and it's a mutual thing. So when you're going in there and you're talking to this person with your business, here's the problem. There's a building that needs to be cleaned, right? And it needs to be done for a good price, and it needs to be done on time consistently. These are the problems. So you need to focus on how you're going to get that done and not worry about, is this person rude, or did this person disrespect me, or, you know, are they pushing me around? Like, you don't think about those things. You just think about, how am I and this person going to get this problem solved so that we're both happy, so that the not so that I win or they lose, but so that the job can get done. You know, that's the first step that you need to take, is separate the people from the problem. Sorry, I knocked over my jug and it was bouncing here. All right, so the next thing is going to be focus on interests, not positions. So the interests are going to be, you know, they want it done cheap and they want it done on time. So that's really what you're going to be talking about. Now, your position is going to be, you want to make enough money to cover the expenses and to also make it worth the effort. And I think that if you bring that to the table and you know what their position is and they know what your position is, well, that gives you some like bargaining power, you know? You don't have to hide your interests, because you're not taking positions. You're not saying like, it's me against you. Like, I'm going to win, you're going to lose, or we need to come up with the best solution so that I get the best advantage, you know? And it shouldn't be that way for them. You guys should just be thinking like, okay, here's the problem. We need to get this building clean. We need to get it done cheaply. And then your problem is, okay, well, I need to get enough money so that I can actually hire the people and buy the supplies and get it done. And then there has to be enough left over to make it actually worth my time. Hopefully this light's not bothering you guys flashing. I guess I'll have to fix that when I'm done filming this video. So yeah, you want to focus on the interests and not the positions. So the third thing is invent options for mutual gain. And so if they want to get it done cheap, but you need to get the money to actually get it done and make it worth your time, come up with some other options. Maybe it's not just a number. Maybe the option isn't just this one price. I can think of several situations where I was negotiating and I couldn't get it done for the price that they wanted. And I had to come up with some other options. So some of the options that I came up with was, let's look at this task list. I can't budge on my numbers because I need a certain amount of money coming in order to make this deal happen. But let's look at the amount of tasks that we're doing. You know, if I can't do this, this, and this, that will save this much money, and then I'm closer to the price point you want to be in. And then this person I was negotiating with, they actually had their team take over some of those tasks. So in some restaurants, we don't clean the kitchen, for example. They have their staff do it because cleaning the kitchen increases the cost significantly. That's kind of a big task to do every single day. So if they don't have a whole lot of money to spend, it's like, okay, no big deal, but maybe you guys could clean the kitchen and we'll just take care of the front of house where the customers see. And so you could think of those types of things. Other things might be, you know, maybe you don't clean all the windows in the office. You have some of their team clean the windows or just do spot cleaning. Or you could reduce the frequency. So these are some ways to negotiate without having to back down on the price that you need to get the job done. And they're going to have to realize it costs money to get it done. You have labor and you have supplies. So you can't come down just on your price, you know, all the time. It's going to have to come from somewhere. So invent options for mutual gain. I know another time I did a big job for a bistro, and the lady didn't want to pay me what I thought it was worth. So we came up with a trade, and I got a bunch of in-store credit, and so I was able to go do the job. And then, like that weekend, I brought in all my friends, and we got a whole bunch of food and drinks, and I had like a little party in her place. And so that was a way to trade. Some other trades. I told you I got my buffer through a trade. You know, the customer didn't have enough money to pay me to do the job, so we traded a buffer, and that was another way to negotiate without actually having to get pushed around too much. There was something in it for both of us. The fourth thing is you can use objective criteria. You know, use third-party information. You don't have to base your pricing based off of the deal that you did last, because that's subjective. You know, just because you had a really good deal last time doesn't mean that that information is going to be relevant in today's deal. Same thing with the current customer you're dealing with. Maybe their current cleaning company gave them a really low price, and so they're insisting on sticking to that low price. Well, that's subjective. I don't know what services they were providing. Obviously, they weren't meeting your needs, because now we're in here and we're talking. And if they did a good job, we wouldn't be here. So maybe pricing actually influenced the quality. So you don't want to use anything subjective. So you could use things like industry standards. There's a list of cleaning times that you can get from the industry associations, and that will tell you how long each thing should take. And so you could use that third-party information. So if you guys agree on the third-party information that you're going to use before you get into negotiations, that's going to be a big tool to get a fair deal. And you can use information from like industry magazines and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different places to get this information, but if you agree on some unit of measurement that you didn't just come up with and they didn't just come up with, you're gonna be dealing in reality a lot more than just, you know, what each person wants to happen. And then the last thing is you have a BATNA, a BATNA, and this is the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So you keep this in the back of your mind during the entire negotiation. And what this is your best alternative to the negotiated agreement. So people always say you need to have walking away power. You need to be able to tell them no and that you can walk away, and that's going to give you all the cards. Well, having a BATNA, a best alternative, that gives you that walkaway power without making you a jerk. So if you have an alternative, so if you're going to get into a bad deal and you're like, hey, this is a bad deal, I can't do this because I'm not going to make money, and I would rather put my time doing floor jobs or carpet cleaning or working with a different customer, that gives you walkaway power. That's an alternative to a negotiated contract. If you're like, hey, I could walk out of here and I could go just do some carpet cleaning, you know, that gives you an ability to not be pushed around. So you need to figure out whatever that is. And maybe it's just doing whatever they want you to do. Maybe you need the business. Maybe it doesn't matter that they don't want to pay you what you think you want or what you need, but you just need the deal so that you can get some experience, so you can get some money flowing in, so that you can pay some bills really quick. And so maybe you can't negotiate and you just have to take their deal. That's another BATNA that you can use. So when you ask, I've been rambling for 15 minutes to answer your question. Let's go ahead and bring this all home now. You asked if I asked them what they're currently paying. Yeah, absolutely I do. Because that gives me a good standard to go off of. If I know what they're currently paying, I can try and work my way back and figure out what the previous company is providing them. And not everybody's going to want to give you that information. And some people don't know how to negotiate properly by using this list and these concepts. You know, some people are very unsophisticated in their methods and they just want to bully you over. They just want a deal just to get a deal, and they don't care about what your needs are. And so sometimes they're not going to want to give you that information. But I think as you're communicating and you're building a relationship, if you could just somehow work it into the conversation and let them know, just I usually just straight up ask, like, hey, so what are you currently paying? Like, what does your budget look like? Because that's going to help me create a plan within that budget. You know, I could be at your facility 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, cleaning every nook and cranny of this place if I have the budget for it. But if you have a lower budget, I'm going to be able to prioritize certain things and create a different task list based off of your needs and a different frequency based off of your budget needs. So it's very useful to get the budget, not in a way of like, let's see if it's going to be worth my time to even work with this person. But no, it's so that you can actually give them something that they need and something that's useful. So yeah, ask them about it. And if they give you some pushback, have some confidence that it's not about making as much money as you possibly can from every transaction, but it's more about focusing on the problem and focusing on the interests. And if their interest is budgetary, you know, talk about it. Bring that forward. Not a problem at all. So, Robert, man, appreciate it. Everybody else, have a good day. Love you guys. Good day.